Well, I say, there we go. Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We're back with the Ted Show. I love these kinds of shows when people are out in our community doing amazing, great things for other members of our community. I have Russ Beymer with HomeAid Orlando with me, Kathleen Pollack with Richmond American Homes. We're here to talk about builders for babies. Love this, saw it online, and I thought, why am I not bringing attention to this? Not that you need it, but I think it's such an amazing thing in our world. Welcome to you both. How are you today?
Good.
Doing great.
Good. We're all dealing with the storm right now. So, audience, if you see us buffer a little bit, I can see the storm outside the window. It's not real pretty. So we got a lot of things we're dealing with. So let's take a deep dive. All right. Before we get started, I told you guys that they'd love to know a little bit about you. So Kathleen, I'm going to talk with you first. Tell us a little bit about Kathleen Pollack.
Sure. So I've been with Richmond American Homes this July. Will be 6 years.
You were a baby.
Yes. Great company, great culture, very involved in GOBA, the Greater Orlando Builders Association, where I originally met Russ. And you, Ted, love your connection with the realtors. And, I try to do the same, really want to be in the know of our realtor community and, get them excited about all that I do on a daily basis within the home building industry.
So before I move to Russ, Kathleen, you obviously didn't have a home builder Barbie when you were younger. What did you want to do? What did you want to be?
That's funny. What did I want to be? I think I wanted to be a teacher growing up. And then I said, let's forget about the kids. I want to be with adults every day. They're more fun.
You can get away with a lot more with adults, that's for sure.
Yes. Got into marketing, went to UCF. Go Knights.
Go Knights. Me too.
Yes.
I love it. All right. Russ, Kathleen's the prettier of the two. I just have to tell you, but you're the star. You're the star. You're the star of the show because we want to learn more about Builders for Babies and HomeAid Orlando. So give them a little.
I'm told all the time I have the perfect face for radio. So
that's
Kathleen
my line.
Is definitely.
You look good. Tell us about you.
Well, before my radio career. I spent 30 years in home building with companies like Ryan Homes and Beezer Homes and a bunch of companies you probably have heard with, including my own company. And after doing virtually every job you can building, from construction to sales to marketing, I found this opportunity with HomeAid Orlando at the very tail end of 2019, because this chapter was just starting then. So I was before, because of all the work I did at GOBA with people like Kathleen to try and give back to the community. Some of the folks there thought, well, we want to get this HomeAid Orlando thing set up, and you'd be a good person to be the first director of it. So here I am.
So tell us about HomeAid Orlando. I have to tell you that until I saw Kathleen's post, I'm not sure I knew about HomeAid Orlando. So tell us a little bit about the organization.
Sure. As mentioned, it's really still getting started because we really had our first big meeting in March of 2020, and we know what else started in March of 2020. So the last year plus has been, it really hasn't been a struggle because it's really been the only thing that HomeAid Orlando has known. We got started during a pandemic. We're trying to make a difference during the pandemic, and we don't have brand recognition yet. What's really cool, though, is HomeAid Orlando is just the newest of 20 city chapters for HomeAid America around the country. So if you go to the HomeAid Orlando website, which is homeaidorlando.org, you'll learn about us. But if you go to homeaid.org, it takes you to the HomeAid website and talks about all the things that have gone on for the last 30 years all across America. So it's really exciting stuff. They've done all kinds of construction projects. That's our primary mission, is to unite the home industry and all of the construction industry with homeless service providers to help them extend their mission. So we're kind of the behind the scenes contractor for those frontline service agencies that you know working with homeless people. Salvation Army, think of the Christian Service Center.
Yes. Tell us a little bit about how that works, because we had a whole bunch of questions before we went live, and people wanted to know, so how does that actually work? If you're working with, let's say, the homeless community in Orlando, what services are provided? Are you in a consulting role? Does HomeAid help with funding? Give them a little bit of what you all actually do to make sure that that process is moving along and that the issues are being addressed, or at least as much of the issues as we can.
Yeah, and thanks for asking that question, because it really is, it's a very intricate process, but at its most simple, think of it as a service agency has a need for something, whether it's a facility that needs remodeling, or they have a new construction project, or they never really even thought how they could expand their operations, because so many of them are just doing what they do every day and getting by with what they have. So as I meet different agencies, their eyes light up and they say, oh, you mean we could actually we could expand our facilities and do what we do? And that's exactly right, because I've got a board of directors that's construction companies and affiliated service companies. So think of title agencies and lumber yards and other suppliers and financial services of all different types. And we're growing in contractors and all of these people have the common thread that they want to give back to their community. Yes. So we marry up to a service provider and say, how can we help you? And they identify a project. And I'll start with the very first thing we did. And I'll give you a chance to ask questions, because it's a deep process, but it's really not that complicated. Lifeboat Project is an organization here in Central Florida that deals with victims of human trafficking.
I serve on the board.
Very nice,
Go ahead.
Ted.
Oh, I love it.
Oops. Yeah, Joel Cohen is the founder of the Lifeboat Project, and one of the first people I met on my journey to learn about the nonprofit services in our community. And Joel had a 4-unit condo building in Winter Springs that was 50 years old and in need of significant repair. 2 of the 4 units were uninhabitable. And Park Square Homes partnered with HomeAid and the Lifeboat Project to remodel that building and turn it 4 model home quality units that became an emergency shelter for these human trafficking victims. They got all of the supplies and labor donated and saved the Lifeboat Project hundreds of thousands of dollars and let them do their mission and expand their work.
Jill Cohen must love you, Russ. She must
Jill
absolutely love you.
I consider her a good friend now, and we're
amazing.
Actually another project with her in downtown Orlando. But we've got lots of other connections and people that we're working with, and I've got very generous builders on the other side, like Taylor Morris and Toll Brothers, KB Homes, Richmond American Homes. All these people want to help the community, and I'm so lucky that I can reunite them.
So Kathleen, tell us about your involvement. Why is it important for you or Richmond American Homes to be involved with HomeAid Orlando, and specifically Builders for Babies? Let's talk a little bit about the actual ongoing fundraiser, supply raiser that ends on the 20th, I believe.
Sure. So one reason is, there's a lot of different nonprofits out there, but HomeAid does have a strong brand nationally, and we are a national home builder. And so we are involved with HomeAid across the country and have seen success and done some of the things that Russ has mentioned and really made an impact in other communities. And so when we heard they were coming to Orlando, we were very excited. And our division president decided to jump on board and be on the board of HomeAid with Russ. and really get involved. And it's something that I'm very passionate about. I worked for a previous builder before, Richmond American Homes, and we were a part of Habitat for Humanity. As we create, the American dream for families, we're helping to create communities, and we want to be plugged in to the community and, make sure it's a good place for people to live and give back. And especially when we saw the pandemic hit, I think we all thought, how can we help out? And, us in real estate as realtors or home builders, we were very fortunate that business kept going and it got very busy. And, I think we all kept saying, what can we do to give back? How can we help? And, when HomeAid decided to launch this campaign, we jumped on board and thought, this was a great cause and something that we don't always think about. So,
Great. So tell me about Builders for Babies. Why babies? And give them some specs. Tell them how they can get involved, what it is we're trying to do and accomplish before the 20th, on or before. Not that you guys couldn't donate later, but this is the campaign.
Yeah, so Russ, you can elaborate, but I'll just touch on the highlights. Our goal, since it is our first year, is 100,000 diapers. And like Ted mentioned, this is our final stretch. We kicked it off Mother's Day weekend, and we're wrapping up the campaign Father's Day weekend. So the final week, so especially those realtors that are tuning in, we encourage you to pick up some diapers. And for Richmond American Homes, all of our model sales offices have a diaper drop. So come on by, or you can swing by our home gallery in Orlando. We're right next to the convention center area. And you can swing by and tour our home gallery where all of our buyers pick their interior finishes and really personalize their home. You can drop off some diapers and get a tour as well. So we have multiple locations that you can pick up diapers. We really want you to help us reach our 100,000 diaper goal this weekend. And, like I mentioned, this is an annual campaign that is done across the country. It's Orlando's first time. So we're happy to build on this and continue in the years to come. Also, a few people were questioning, where are the diapers going? So,
Good
Russ,
question. That was my next question.
do you want to touch on that a little bit, Russ?
Yeah, tell us.
Sure.
Russ, where are the diapers going and why diapers?
Well, it's interesting, Ted. I'll only speak for myself. You become kind of ignorant to the idea of what is needed for a family at different points in their lives. I remember being a parent to young children. That was many, many years ago, unfortunately. But a parent to a young child should not have to think about, do I have enough money to buy all the food and diapers and other supplies that I need for my family? But unfortunately, we're in that situation now, particularly here in Central Florida. We know how the pandemic has affected the service industry and how many people are struggling out there. And a lot of those people are struggling with the idea of, do I buy food or I buy diapers? Obviously, the first choice family. Does that mean I go without diapers? How do I do that? And I came to understand that there is a shortage of diapers from some supply houses because of the pandemic. I mean, you think about all the things you hear about with car parts and lumber and other things that are obvious, but some of the components that go into diapers for some of the manufacturers are also in shortages. I talked to somebody at one of the diaper warehouses here in town. They said, we're behind on shipments for that very reason. We've partnered with Hope Ministries in Kissimmee, with the Christian Service Center in downtown Orlando, and with the Coalition for the Homeless to stock their diaper pantries. And anything that we get above our 100,000, we're going to try to help the Central Florida Diaper Bank with their needs, because it was Sharon Lyles at the Central Florida Diaper Bank who first told me about this diaper shortage. We're very fortunate that the other diaper banks have been staying pretty full, and we may not need all 100,000 to fill them up. But anything we get is going to help all of these people. And the overage, we want to blow past 100,000 so we can go to the Central Florida Diaper Bank with a big delivery and really set things off. We're super excited about 100,000, but we have much bigger plans. Some of the HomeAid chapters around the country collect 1 million diapers or more in their diaper drives, and that's where we want to go.
We've got a ways to go, Russ, but we'll get there.
Next year. We'll do it next
year. But well, first of all, I love being educated on something I don't know, which I did not know about HomeAid Orlando, even though I've talked to Jill 1 million times. I did not know about the diaper shortage. I think people, it's so good that you guys come on, and thank you both for coming on, because I think that people really don't know what to do. And this is a shortage that actually people can physically see their donation going and actually helping out. I think that people are unaware of the shortage. I didn't know. My kids are all older. I have a grandchild that's that age, but I didn't know anything about it. That is such a small thing to be able to do with such a giant impact on the parents and the kids. That, wow, this is like, think about all of the different ways that people get involved. And I love that you called it Builders for Babies. I mean, it's just so good. How can you not donate to something that says babies on it? But I love the fact that you guys got behind this and have created a campaign that has obviously touched a whole bunch of people. We had a ton of people ask me before we went live, where do they donate? So as we start to wrap it up, I know, Kathleen, you talked about it, but what's the best way for them to find out where they can drop diapers off, how they can donate anything to HomeAid Orlando and Builders for Babies?
Well, I'll touch on one of the easiest ways. Russ, the website is homeaid.org, correct?
HomeAidOrlando.org will take you right to the home page, and at the bottom of the page is a link to all the Builders for Babies contacts. You can go right online there and make a straight cash donation, which will turn into diapers and supplies, or you can go shop on the Amazon web page and pick out exactly what you want to get. You know, we started off with some of the shelters said, boy, we need larger size diapers. Well, I'm to tell you that after talking to some pantries, they need all sizes, and don't forget the diaper wipes. They say there's a shortage of wipes because everybody thinks about diapers first, and they need the wipes just as much.
And that it's just so crazy because I've never had to face that before. But looking at it just in that particular scope, I would have freaked out if I couldn't get diapers and if I didn't have access or I didn't have the money, because there's nothing worse than a baby crying from an uncomfortable situation in their diaper. I can tell you that from experience. And then as a parent, you're already stressed out. So to be able to meet that need or exceed that need is such a big deal. All right, you guys, go to homeaidorlando.org. The website is scrolling across the bottom. Of course, you can reach out to Russ Beymer or Kathleen Pollack or me, and we will all get you to where you need to be. You can donate, which will be basically turned into diapers, or you can use one of the many drop-off sites that Richmond American Homes has. And so you can just go to the site and do that. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. Come back anytime you have something like this, Russ. I love what you're doing, Kathleen. I love the fact that you posted that. I would not have known if you had not posted. So kudos to you and to Toby Moyle and whoever else is involved in this. I just think it's amazing what you guys are doing for our families here in Orlando. So thanks for being on the show. See how easy that was?
Thank you.
Ted, and I just want to give a quick shout out. You know, we've had a lot of our trade partners that have chimed in the home building industry. You know, everything from people who make our windows to, you know, every part of the home that have dropped off at different builders diapers. As you can see, I've been posting stacks of diapers. And then, of course, our realtor community, you know, we consider them an integral partner in what we do. And they're swinging by our sales office in model homes all the time. So thank you to all of you who have dropped off diapers. We really appreciate it. And we still got a week to go. So we'd love to see you.
And you know what? June 20th is a cutoff, but it's a cutoff. It doesn't mean that you cannot continue to support HomeAid Orlando, continue to support Builders for Babies, continue to support all of the work that we're trying to do, that they're trying to do, and really succeeding at in making an impact. If you have ever had a baby or had a shortage of something that a baby needed, you know that their screaming and crying is enough to send you over the edge. You're upset, you're worried. There is nothing worse than not being able to know where the next diaper might come from, or how you're going to be able to keep your baby happy. And so this is such a beautiful thing that you guys are doing. Russ, Kathleen, thank you both so much. Thank you, Toby Moyle, for popping on too. She's amazing. You guys go out to homeaidorlando.org or reach out to me, Russ, Kathleen, or Toby for that matter, and we will get you where you need to be. Thank you both. So good. Thank you for what you do in our community. Thank you for all you did for the Lifeboat Project. Russ, we appreciate all of you. Thank you, guys. We'll